and community. When he's in your city, you won't miss a thing. Just text the number, let your phone ring, 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 ring. 949298290. That's 9492980. Events, connection, and opportunity, all in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. Buy for life. 949298290. That's 9492980. Hey! 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 Wanna know where David's gonna be? Get invites, updates, and community. When he's in your city, you won't miss a thing. Just text the number, let your phone ring, 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 ring. 949298290. That's 9492980. Events, connection, and opportunity, all in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. Buy for life. 949298290. That's 9492980. Hey! 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 Wanna know where David's gonna be? Get invites, updates, and community. When he's in your city, you won't miss a thing. Just text the number, let your phone ring, 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 ring. 949298290. That's 9492980. Events, connection, and opportunity, all in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. Buy for life. 949298290. That's 9492980. Hey! 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 Wanna know where David's gonna be? Get invites, updates, and community. When he's in your city, you won't miss a thing. Just text the number, let your phone ring, 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 ring. 949298290. That's 9492980. Events, connection, and opportunity, all in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. Buy for life.
Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
There's so much more effort someone will give if it is not seen as the job, but the thing that they enjoy doing with their life.
We both view all of it that way. It's like, how in this interaction am I going to add excessive value to the person on the other side? And neither of us, I think, accept anything less than that.
I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Very simply, getting people's mind realigned and showing them evidence of what they can do so that they know that they can make the right decision in the moment.
I knew I could get better, and I knew, because no matter how late to the game you are, there's a phrase I invite everybody to live by, which is, there's always room for the best.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
Overarching umbrella, I would say, about how to accomplish it all is to find things that you're just really passionate about and that you love and you're interested in.
You got to do it because you truly love it. And at some point, if you're thriving in it and if you are being progressive at it, you'll probably get recognized for that.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
Good morning, right on time. That is truly impressive. It is Friday training. We've been doing this for over 28 years. It's going to be 29 years, October 11th. Right on pace with my wedding anniversary as well. It's going to be 29 years. So we are blessed. Today, I'm super excited about our training. It's a big conflict for people. I think a misunderstanding that causes so much interference. And we're always confused about being nice or being kind. And so it's a great, we're waiting for the Clubhouse crew to come on board. There they go. We'll get started in a minute here. Thank you for your patience. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much and bless you guys. We're here for our Friday training. We've been doing this for over 28 years. It'll Be 29 years, October 11th, little 111, another great sign that we're on the right track, the coinciding of what we desire in the divine direction in which we desire it. And today's training is very exciting to me because it's an area which so many people cause themselves dis-ease, knowing the difference between being nice and being kind. And I will tell you that being nice is not always the best option, but being kind is. And anybody that would like the guide or exercise today or the replay today, this one's guaranteed to rock your world, impact your life, accelerate, aggregate, and compound exponentially the outcomes you desire. And when we have outcomes that we desire or better, this is when we are most happy, being able and capable not only of helping others, but being more able and capable of helping others by learning from these outcomes that we desire. Before we get into it, we got the Nick of Wam here as well. If, once again, you'd like the replays or exercises, email me. David means beloved, @D is my first initial, and Meltzer means servant. Let me be your beloved servant, david@dmeltzer.com. It's pinned right there. And if you'd like to be informed or invited, we had an amazing mastermind intimate dinner last night here in Newport Beach. We're going to blow the doors off of SoFi Stadium with Wolfgang Puck, the CEO of Bugatti. We have the founder of Dry Bar. We have Brian Scher. We have Marie Diamond, Tim Story, and the list goes on and on. If you are all interested in coming to visit us at SoFi Stadium, go ahead, email me or join our text community, 949-298-2905. That's how you stay informed. That's how you stay invited. Over 200 different events a year. Put that back up there. So we got, we're going to be at SoFi Stadium, then Atlanta, Georgia with Les Brown. Come and join us there. Then in San Diego, back to SoFi Stadium, and then we're going to Mount Rushmore to do a mastermind there in Rapid City, interviews, holding courts, meetups, VIP dinners for charity. It's all available for our community. You just got to be informed and be invited, not obligated. 949-298-2905. And we are blessed to be here. We're going to get right to it. And I'm going to get into what is one of my newest trainings and one of, I believe, my favorites, nice versus kind. As I mentioned previously, we often confuse being nice with being kind. But there's an important difference between the two. Being nice is often about protecting, defending, and controlling how someone else feels about us in the moment. While being kind is about serving what is best for everyone, including you, in the long term. We may avoid a difficult conversation because we don't want someone to be upset with us. In the moment, that feels nice. But if the conversation could help that person grow, improve, or avoid a bigger mistake, avoiding it may not actually be kind. Nice is about being liked. Kind is about being of service. Being nice can protect, defend, and control the present feelings that we have. Being kind protects our future self and our future outcome. The first lesson that I've learned about being nice versus being kind is we must look at approval versus the truth. When we're focused on approval, what I call FOPO, the fear of other people's opinion, the fear of defense and control of how we communicate, we may avoid conflict without feedback, or even tell people what they want to hear instead of what we believe will help them or what they may even need to hear. We see so many people we care about making destructive dis-ease in their personal and professional lives. Being nice might mean saying, I support you in whatever you decide. And being kind means saying, I support you, which is why I need to elevate your decision with my questions and my suggestions. We shouldn't confuse avoiding discomfort with creating value. Asking difficult questions and making suggestions, sometimes the kindest thing we can do, requires us to share our thoughts, our perceptions, and the meaning which we consider to be our truths. We must understand that this idea is a bigger idea. If you look at the omniscient, all-powerful, and all-knowing that loves us, protects us, perfects us more than our mom, that omniscient, all-powerful being, that omniscient, all-powerful, infinite, abundant, unified system of thought, your God has no problem creating conflict in your life. Especially as parents, we have a difficult time doing the same to those children that we want to protect, promote, love, and perfect in the same manner, but we are too nice to provide them the opportunity to learn through the evidence that isn't there or contrary to where we want to be, or the questions and suggestions that are uncomfortable for others. Your God has no problem doing that, but we have a problem doing that to the people that we love the most, especially because people seek approval and God does not. God lives in the truth, and you should live in that truth as well, your truth. No, you don't tell people what to do because you may be wrong, but you certainly need to speak up with your questions and your suggestions to determine if you're right or wrong, in an appreciation of those differences. Asking questions whether we're communicating from a position of courage, the ability to speak our truth, or fear, the FOPO. This idea, the fear of other people's opinion, this is the transition between FOPO and JOPO. When we utilize our effective communication to ask uncomfortable questions and give uncomfortable suggestions, our FOPO turns to JOPO, the joy of other people's opinion. When we tell our truth with intention of helping through the methodology of questions and suggestions, when we have that intention, it is not hurting. I want you and us to ask the right questions of ourselves as well. Replace, will they still like me, with how can I best serve them? We no longer want to seek approval. We want to seek the truth through the methodology of questions and suggestions. Lesson number 1, if you would like the exercises to practice questions and suggestions, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I will send you the replay of this. I'll send you my book. I will send you the exercise on FOPO and JOPO on the questions and suggestion methodology in order to effectively understand the difference between the seeking of approval and seeking our truth. The second lesson of being nice versus being kind is another grandiose conflict of human beings, which is our short-term comfort versus our long-term outcomes. So many of us seek a short-term comfort instead of the long-term outcomes in which we desire that aggregates, accelerates, and compounds exponentially. Being nice often optimizes our comfort now. Kindness considers what creates the greatest outcome later. When we're able and capable of prioritizing someone's immediate feelings over their future growth, we can unintentionally enable the behavior that will limit their self-image and hold them back because they never will overachieve their own self-image. We actually end up hurting them. When someone in our spheres of influence, our families, our friends, our associates, our vendors, our teams isn't performing or acting or intending in the right direction, repeatedly telling them they're doing great may feel compassionate, but we're taking away the opportunity to learn, improve, or discover something better, aligned with their divine direction, aligned with development of their skills, development of their knowledge, and the increase in their desire or inspiration. We are disempowering them. Kindness without the truth becomes enablement. Kindness without the truth is being nice. We can care about someone's feelings while still caring enough to challenge them with questions and suggestions, not demandments, but commandments, working with them through a process of learning from each other, but also as a process of vetting what we're talking about and trusting what they're talking about and their perceptions, knowing that it is their thoughts, their perception, their meaning, their intention, and their behaviors that will create their long-term outcomes, not yours. So many of us don't consider the long-term outcomes even when we are looking at the short-term comfort. We need to consider the long-term impact of the conversations we're avoiding. You need to stop and drop and roll when you are avoiding something and ask yourself why. The same way you need to stop, drop, and roll with everything that resonates with you, which means I strongly feel this positively in a divine direction, or I strongly feel against it. And if so, I can't avoid it. I need not go over it, under it, through it, around it, lie to it, cheat it, manipulate it, deny it. I need to supply it. I need to supply it with the light, the love, and the lessons that it contains, knowing that every one of these avoidances has a solution in it, but I cannot avoid it. When we give feedback, knowing that nobody, including us, likes feedback in the present, but when we are able and capable of giving feedback through questions and suggestions, not demandment, but commandment, this creates an opportunity for expansion, acceleration, aggregation, and growth that creates compounding impact, compounding outcomes in the long term. Remember, we will measure kindness by the value not only that we create, but we articulate. I'll repeat that. We will measure kindness by not only the value we create, but by the value we articulate, and especially not simply the comfort that we're trying to preserve. Comfort is not ease. Comfort can create in the comfort zone dis-ease, a constrictive energy that makes less and less things possible. It limits our preferences, and our preferences are what dictate our happiness by understanding the limitations that it sets upon our days, weeks, months, years, and lives. This understanding of what we seek as preference can limit us and our self-image. And remember, you never will overachieve your own self-image. If you would like the exercise guides, my book, if you'd like the replay of this training, email me. David means beloved, @D is my first initial. Meltzer means servant. Let me be that beloved servant. David at dmeltzer.com about short-term comfort versus long-term outcomes as we look at nice versus kind. The third lesson for today in nice versus kind is expansion. The expansion of these circles of compassion. Expanding our circles of compassion is when we're primarily concerned with how others perceive us. Our perspective becomes centered on ourselves. Kindness requires us to expand our circle and consider what serves the greater good in the divine time or long term. So we need to ask the right questions, give the right suggestions. So instead of asking, oh, will they be upset with me? We will consider how a decision affects everyone involved, our families, our teams, our organizations, our community, our neighborhood, and our relationships, the relativity of all relationships. We need to look at the greater good. We need to put it into a divine time perspective. We need to know that there's no evidence, and the evidence is contrary to where we want to be when we're expanding our circle of compassion. We are influenced by the spheres of influence. The larger our comfort zone becomes, the larger our learning zone becomes, the farther out the anxiety becomes. The less our behaviors, which are created by our thoughts, perception, meaning, and intention of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe, the less of our behavior is controlled by the need to defend, prove, and control, the needs of our egos that edges goodness and God and gold and all the great G's out of our lives, the EGO. And the more it is directed by service, the more we will expand the comfort zone and the learning zone, pushing the anxiety zone far, far away. What we need to do to expand our circles of compassion is look far beyond our immediate emotional response and reaction to that. Reminding ourselves that uncertainty is 24 hours. That's why we have non-negotiable behavior to mitigate the 24 hours of uncertainty by having certainty of behavior, even though there's uncertainty of circumstance or evidence. And so we need to look beyond not only those uncertainties that create the need to defend, prove, and control, but how we emotionally react to the need to defend, control, and prove. Those reactions of the need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, worried. Just think about if you could change all the time you worried, interfering with your potential, praying for what you didn't want, into kind acts, into kind thoughts, into kind perception, meaning, and intention, and even kind behaviors. Imagine how much value you would be adding to your expanding circle of compassion. We need to ask, what is it that creates the greatest value for everyone involved? We need to look at the divine, infinite intelligence, intuition, inspiration, and energy that exists and figure out what we're doing to separate ourselves from it or interfere with it. When we make these decisions, understanding, expanding our circle of compassion, the spheres of influence of compassion and kindness versus wanting to be nice, we will make decisions from service rather than that separation or interference. If you would like the exercise guides, my book, or the replay for expanding our circles of compassion, or this entire training, David@dmeltzer.com. David@dmeltzer.com. The next lesson: perspective, empathy, and the 4 values. As I mentioned before, our thoughts become our perspective, and our perspective is our ability to find the light, the love, and the lesson to provide the meaning to our past, the memories of the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious competencies in which drive our decision-making process. But our perspective isn't necessarily our reality. Our reality is formed by what divine direction we take, who we can help and who can help us, and how we best behave in alignment with making those decisions. Our now is our reality. That's why we do it now and do it next, because 100% of the things we do now get done. And once they're done, they're a reality. Then once again, they become a memory. Then it becomes a meaning. And that meaning then becomes our intention. And our intention then becomes our behaviors. And our behaviors determine the exponentiality of our results. Think about when when we are in a disagreement, at dis-ease with self or others. Instead of immediately proving something, defending something, controlling something, our position, our perspective, what if we asked, what are they seeing that we're not seeing? This is the crux of the difficult position that people are in today, because they're not appreciating the differences. They're not appreciating the differences. And that question creates space for understanding instead of judgment conditions, separation that creates interference. We want to create space for unity, not dis-ease. We want to create space for the ease to flow in the infinite amount of energy, intuition, into inspiration that allows us to dissipate and dissolve the judgments and conditions that limit our self-image. And as a reminder, you never will overachieve your own self-image. The idea of perspective, empathy, and these 4 values of gratitude and empathy, accountability, and effective communication. Empathy does not require agreement. In fact, most of the time it shouldn't. It should require understanding, appreciation through gratitude by seeking the love and the lessons in other people's opinion, other people's perspective, other people's meaning, other people's thoughts. When we seek the understanding and appreciate the differences while remaining truthful about what we think, say, do, feel, and believe. Our 4 values of gratitude gives you that perspective to find the light, the love, and the lessons. Empathy, to be at ease, to forgive ourselves so we can give that forgiveness to others. I see so many vengeful and revengeful people. And just as a cliche, being vengeful and revengeful is like taking poison and thinking the other person is going to die. Accountability, the ability to learn and take control of the uncertainty, or I should say taking control during the 24 hours of uncertainty. Accountability, asking ourselves, what did I do to be responsible? What did I do to attract this to myself? What did I do to participate in this perspective? And most importantly, what am I supposed to learn from it so I can expand the circles of comfort, the spheres of influence? And then finally, the 4th value of effective communication. Not just effectively communication with everything that exists in the man-made constructs of this earth, but effectively communicate with the source, with your God, the infinite, abundant, unified system of thought, an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing, that protects us, promotes us, loves, and perfects us. How well are we effectively communicating or interfering with it? How often are we at ease or at dis-ease? This will help us combine truth with love. We need to practice gratitude by finding the light, the love, and the lessons in every circumstance. every evidence that's non-existent, every evidence that's contrary. We need to find the light, the love, and the lessons in every person, place, thing, event, trauma, and remembrance, reminder, and recollection in our life. We need to use empathy to understand the perspectives that are different from our own so that we can be at ease. But more importantly, even identify that which is putting us at dis-ease, the FOPO and the FOMO, the fear of other people's opinion, the fear of missing out, and turn it and translate it into JOPO and JOMO, the joy of missing out, the joy of other people's opinion, the joy of other people's perspective. We need to take accountability and take control of our lives for what we're meant to learn and the meaning that we give what we've learned, so that it turns into the intention of what we do, say, feel, believe, and think, which then translates into the behaviors that create those exponential outcomes, the compounding impact of acceleration and aggregation of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe, of our behaviors 7 days a week in a consistent, persistent pursuit of our potential. And finally, we need to effectively communicate with transparency without becoming interfering, without limiting our self-image, without putting more dis-ease instead of less, finding resolutions. With every problem, the solution already exists. It's just a lapse of time. We want that to be less destructive, less dis-ease. If you would like the replay from today or the guides or this exercise, perspective, empathy, and the 4 values, then please email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Lesson number 5. Lesson number 5 is the courage to say no. I have so many no rules that create boundaries for ourselves, a framework for ourselves, an efficient, effective, productive, accessible, gracious use of time. We need to utilize that courage to say no, whether it's the 3 no rule, which I'm happy to send you, or the 25 no rule. These are exercises that I utilize to create courage, repetition, ease, and comfort in saying no. You are made by the people that you say no to. You're made by the people that you say no to, because every yes has a cost of at least time, emotion, and value. Every yes. When we say yes simply because we are afraid to disappoint somebody or upset somebody or create discomfort in somebody, growth in somebody, we may create expectations that we cannot fulfill, because they're based on time, emotion, and value. And time, emotion, and value instantly changes the minute we say yes. That's why understanding and being courageous to say no, and no may say not at this time, because you never know what happens with time, because time, emotion, and value changes immediately when you say yes or no. I love to tell people not at this time, which leaves me an open-minded, open-hearted and open-handed person, but knowing and aligning with what I can fulfill and what I can't. Because in essence, I'd like to say yes to everything, but I can't, because I'm limited by the 24 hours in a day, and 12 hours of those are non-negotiable. A truthful no, or not at this time, can sometimes be far kinder than an enthusiastic yes that you may not be able to fulfill, because you are afraid of disappointing someone. When we agree to a commitment, even though we may or we know we don't have the time, value, or emotion, resources, capability, or even the desire to fulfill it, our yes feels nice initially. But ultimately, that niceness creates disappointment for everyone involved, which doesn't feel nice anymore, and certainly isn't kind to our future selves or other people's future self. These courageous no's create the boundaries, the frameworks that, believe it or not, are not inherently selfish. These boundaries, communicated with gratitude, empathy, accountability, and effective communication, will be, in the long run, these boundaries will be, in the long run, an act of kindness. One of my favorite taglines when I complete anything is, remember, be kind to your future self, by saying not at this time, by aligning what you can do today, what you can do in the future, with what you're responding or promising. We need to evaluate the cost of yes before committing, including the emotional expense, because remember, time, emotion, and value will change the minute we say yes or no. That's why if I say yes, I have taken into consideration utilizing the AAA strategy of alignment, action, and adjustment, and created a process or a boundary of alignment, action, and adjustment when I say yes, or not at this time, which is no at this time. Knowing that time, emotion, and value changes the minute I give an agreement, whether it's written, oral, verbal, with consideration, payment, or not. We need to stop using agreement as a way to avoid disappointment. I need to reiterate that to people. Stop using agreeing with someone as a way to avoid disappointment. Use not at this time to help people, guide them, protect them, promote them, love and perfect them towards where their divine direction is, and protect yours. When we're able and capable of communicating these boundaries clearly, respectfully, empathetically, creating buckets of what I can do. I can do this for free. I can do this in a group setting. I can do this one-on-one. I can do this in an advisory role. I can do this as an investment. What bucket do you fill into? And if you don't, do I know somebody else that can help you that may be aligned with where you'd like to be or better, with what you need or better? So therefore, I will say, not at this time, but I know somebody that may be able to help you, or yes, I can help you. That's why asking people on the other side, do you know anyone that can help you, is inclusive of the person you're asking and includes their entirety, their entire spheres of influence. We need to have the courage and the enlightenment to say not at this time, a no, or understand the boundaries of our yeses, group, free, group, one-on-one, advisory, or investment, the buckets that I have that nearly cover about 99% of the people that I can help. But the boundaries allow me to say, I can't do this at that time, but here's what I can do at this time. We need to have that courage. We need to create the boundaries. If you would like the AAA strategy, if you would like the 3 no rule, if you would like the 25 no rule, if you would like to learn how to say not at this time, if you would like to understand how time and emotion changes immediately when we say not at this time or yes, please let me be your beloved servant. David means beloved. At D is my first initial. Meltzer means servant. Let me be your beloved servant. David at dmeltzer.com. The final lesson of being nice versus being kind. Not only having the courage to say no or not at this time, but communicating with courage and service. A lot of being nice revolves around our fear of a difficult conversation, uncomfortable questions. Difficult conversations become harder when we attach our response to the uncertainty. Difficult conversations become harder when we're attached to being right, being liked, or even getting someone to agree with us. We communicate more effectively when we're able and capable of detaching from those needs to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful, or worried, that we need to be liked. What we need to do is reconnect to our thoughts, our perspective, our meaning, our intentions of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe, and of course, our behaviors. When we connect to the thoughts, perspective, meaning, intentions, and behaviors with service, we now have courage to help more people in the long run. But everybody needs to face difficult conversations, personally and professionally. We need to do things before the difficult conversations instead of thinking, how do we get them to agree with us? We need to ask ourselves, how can we best serve them? In the infinite. That shift between the need to be right to come to an agreement instead of come to appreciation and service. This shift changes not only the energy, but the intention behind every conversation, no matter how perceived difficult it is or full of dis-ease it may be. When we look to seek appreciation, understanding instead of agreement, we can approach every difficult conversation, dis-ease that exists in a positive, productive, accessible, and gracious manner. In order to do so, we need to use the cancel, clear, connect. When in any part of the equation, whether we're thinking, perceiving, meaning, intending, or behaving in ego, and to move from that reaction with fear to service instead, we will need to cancel the negative thoughts, perspective, and meaning, and sometimes even behaviors. If they keep repeating themselves, we know it's a greater problem than the conscious. It must be a problem of the subconscious, because the subconscious hosts about 10,000 of the same thoughts every day that are repetitive, and the majority of them are negative. And so as those negative memories that are stored from this lifetime or previous ones, if you believe in that, we need to clear our need to be right, offended, superior, or liked. We need to clear it. When we continually know that our subconscious is evoking the ego so that we now have a need to defend, to prove, or control the situation, which leads to a need to be right, offend them, or feel superior, or want to be liked. The FOPO and the JOMO. And what we need to remind, remember, and recollect is to reconnect by shifting the energy of what we genuinely want for the other person, for the greater good, not in the short term. So try to cancel the negative thoughts, meanings, perspectives, intentions, and behaviors before we react. Try to cancel the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, or guilty. Try to react by canceling all of those things. Say it out loud, say it inside, it doesn't matter. Let's clear our conscious. Let's live at ease. Let's learn from the dis-ease. Let's clear our attachment to the FOPO, the approval, the right person, the right ideas. Let's clear out that attachment of the memories that we've stored, and let's recollect and clear any attachments that are not aligned with our divine direction. And let's connect. Let's clear the interference between us and the infinite, abundant, unified system of thought. Let's connect with the infinite, abundant energy, intuition, intelligence, and inspiration that already exists. Let's connect to the outcomes that we desire in our divine direction, not for just us, but for everyone, especially the other person that we're engaged with. Let's connect to the ease, to identify the dis-ease. And finally, let's communicate. Let's communicate the truth within and without. Let's communicate with the gratitude and empathy and accountability and the effective communication that we talked about so that we can be courageous and of service for the greatest good, living in Jopo and Jomo, living with the joy of other people's opinion through appreciation, through these 4 values, and Jomo, the joy of missing out, of saying no. If you would like this 6th and final lesson, if you'd like the replay of this training, if you would like the book, the guides, the exercises, all you need to do is email me, david@dmeltzer.com. david@dmeltzer.com. Learn how to communicate with courage and service. So many people misinterpret being nice with being kind. There's a big difference. Nice is about being liked. Kind is about being of service. Being nice can protect others and your present feelings, but being kind protects the future outcomes, the divine direction of where you want to be or better. Understand the difference between approval versus the truth. Go ahead and give up the short-term comfort for the long-term outcomes and the greater good. Expand the spheres of influence in our circles of compassion. Increase the comfort zone, the learning zone. Push your anxiety zone far beyond others. Share perspective with gratitude to give you that perspective, with empathy to give you ease, with accountability to give you control, and effective communication to allow you to live in spirit, inspired. Have the courage to say not at this time or quote unquote no, and create boundaries of yeses, buckets of maybe free and group and one-on-one and advisory and investment, whatever your buckets may be, so that you can say yes to more in an efficient, effective, and statistically successful way to be productive, accessible, and gracious in your time, your 24 hours of time. And then finally, communicate. Communicate with the courage and the service that is intended with being kind. The greatest leaders aren't simply trying to be the nicest people in the room. When they said nice guys finish last, that may actually be true, but kind guys don't. Kind people don't. They finish first. They're the tortoise. Nice people are the hare. The greatest leaders aren't simply trying to be the nicest people in the room. We should strive to be the kindest people in the room, willing to tell the truth through questions and suggestions and hold ourselves and others accountable, being forgiving and empathetic, challenging through appreciation of those questions and suggestions, supportive with that appreciation, and helping everyone become something greater, expanding them than they are today. When our circle, our spheres of influence is small, we ask, do they like us? Are they upset with us? Hope they agree with us. When we expand our spheres of influence, our circle, our questions and suggestions change. What is my truth? What is their truth? How can I appreciate the differences? What is helpful? How can I help? Who can help me and how can I help them? What creates value in consideration and articulation of the time, emotion, and value that changes instantly upon every agreement, written, oral, implied, even with consideration or payment? And what serves the greatest good in the divine time, not in the man-made constructive short time of a day, an hour, a week, or a month, or even a year? Nice equals comfort plus approval. Kind equals truth plus empathy plus courage plus service. The more we focus in on being of service and values to others, the less we need that approval. Turn your FOPO into JOPO. Understand the difference between being nice and being kind. This has been our Friday training, which we've done for over 28 years. If you would like the guide exercises, my books, if you'd like the replay of this training to share with your friends, please email me, David, that means beloved, at D, that's my first initial, Meltzer means servant. Let me be your beloved servant. Please email me, David at dmeltzer.com. We are blessed to be here. I am going to turn it over to our incredible moderator, coach, friend, teacher, mentor, best student I've ever had. Tomorrow is his birthday, everyone. Tomorrow is his birthday, and he's still here up early on a Friday. The incredible Nick of WOM, the well-oiled machine, is turning 26 tomorrow. My friend, can you reset the room so we can finish with some Q&A?
It is always a pleasure and an honor to be here with you, Mr. Meltzer, and thank you for an incredible 3 quarters of what is the nice versus kind training, and not to be annoying and repetitive, but of course I'm going to do so for everybody in our community, whether you are here live in the Breakfast with Champions, the greatest room and community on Clubhouse, or whether you are joining us on the multicast live on all platforms. I know you all want the guided exercise and the replay from today's training, so please make sure to email the beloved servant himself, David at dmeltzer.com. And if for any reason, if you don't have a copy of his book, be sure to mention it, as he will throw in a copy of his book, sending you a copy, signing a copy, and even paying for shipping. Once again, just David at dmeltzer.com. And now as we open it up for Q&A for all of our friends here in the Breakfast with Champions, if you have a question for David today and are in the audience, use the hand icon at the lower left-hand corner of your screen to request to join the stage, and we will, of course, bring you up. If you're already on stage and have a question for David today, just put a quick note in the room chat, and I will be happy to pass the mic over your way. And last but most certainly not least, for all of our friends on the multicast, as you have your questions for David today, please make sure to load up the chat, as we will be monitoring it and pulling some questions from the chat as well. Now, without further ado, for the first question of the day, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Brent Nichols, Mr. Energy, the CEO, Chief Energy Officer, as he is always bringing it. Mr. Nichols, my friend, happy Friday. It's always good to see you here. Why don't you unmute yourself and kick us off with the first question of the day?
Happy birthday, and thank you so much, David. Thank you very much, Nick. By the way, my son's turning 11 tomorrow. So
nice.
Share the same birthday as my son.
Let's go.
And 11 is the freaking, we all love 11.
We all love 11.
We do. So first of all, I have a FOPO versus JOPO question. And it's mainly a question to make sure I understand this, because you always make all these complex situations and complex topics seem so easy. And, we visualize it in our heads, and then, putting them into action is a whole different story. So I'm visualizing it as like a scale, like an old school scale, with fear of people's opinions on one side, joy of people's opinions on the other side. And the equilibrium of that scale is like an unlock of identity that releases, all this goodness that you have to offer in your authentic self into the universe. Am I understanding this correctly, or am I just trying to simplify things in my own very small brain that I have here?
Well, we all share in the size, scope, and scale of the brain. But remember, the brain to the mind is like time, the clock to a time. So there's no size differentiator, and size doesn't matter when it comes to the brain, because the mind is infinite, just like time is infinite, but a clock is not. But that visualization or illustration is one that absolutely works, right? We have this harmony of this, being liked, being kind, being nice, being kind. And there's an equilibrium, a harmony of it, because one of the aspects of, is it worth the time, emotion, and value to be courageous? We can't afford to be, that's not true. We can't afford sometimes to be courageous all the time, to create and have appreciation. We sometimes, just to afford ourselves a time to be kind, we need to be nice. And it's not for the purpose of being liked, it's the purpose of being efficient. And so we don't have to, for those people that aren't relative to us or associated with us, we can just be nice. And because we have no intention in the course of the relativity, in the course of association, in the course of appreciation, sometimes it's just better that we understand for efficiency. I'm not going to take it in time to appreciate our difference. I'm just going to be nice because I'm not seeking that approval. Therefore, I'm being kind because I have no need to have approval from this person, but I have no interest in appreciating their position. So I'm just going to be nice and say, oh, I appreciate that, and move on. So there's a reality in the construct of time that sometimes, understanding the difference between nice and being kind doesn't mean that you can't be nice for time's sake, not nice for approval's sake. And I think when that scale kind of balances in a harmonious way within the linear construct of scale is a man-made construct, I now am thinking about the fact that, this training is about the difference between being nice versus kind. It doesn't mean that you can't just be nice, because sometimes being nice is being kind to your future self, because you're saving so much time not to create a discomfort between someone that's not relative, associated, or feeds or bleeds you in that necessary way. You don't want to bleed yourself to have a bigger picture with everybody and appreciate everybody when you come across them on a subway and they're yelling at you. You don't have to say, oh, tell me about how you feel. But you only utilize your time and prioritize the people that are associated. But you should be nice and kind sometimes by just being nice, but not avoiding, of course, other people's opinion or other people's approval. That's where kindness comes in. What a great illustration. Really provoked some interesting perspectives of my own that I'm going to do some more research on, is when is it okay to be nice? Or when is nice actually kind, even though they're different? Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. It's like the journey of understanding if the person in front of you has an open mind or not. If yes, be kind. If not, just be nice.
There you go, because you can't re-engineer a closed mind. And so that's when we use the 3-no rule and maybe come back at a different time, because that closed mind, if we catch them when they have an open mind, is a statistically better mind to deal with, because they don't have as many options and touches of favor that we have to compete with when we find someone who the majority of the time has a closed mind, but we catch them when they have an open mind by utilizing the 3-no rule, which I'll send to everybody if they want it. Now, when someone doesn't have a lot of options, now they have an open mind when they normally don't, they're more likely to move forward with you or say yes or agree with you and help you as much as you can help them. So great lesson inside the lesson. Thank you, Brent, so much. If you like any of those rules, david@dmeltzer.com. Nick, we got time for one or two more questions. Let's get going.
Absolutely. We got Mary. Excuse me. Goodness.
We got
Marianne here. Marianne, the mic is yours, my dear.
Oh, my goodness. Good morning, guys. Happy birthday, Nick.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Queen.
So I love this right now in knowing that difference, because I do like to assert my kindness, but being nice, I feel like sometimes I could be nice and like it's kind of blowing people off, and then I feel guilty.
Yeah, that's interfering.
Yeah. So can you, so I guess my question is, how can I not be that interference?
Yeah. So guilt is an interfering emotion, right? Resentment, guilt. And when we feel guilty, it's inherently because we are seeking approval of someone else, or we feel like we've disappointed someone else, or we feel as if we haven't aligned with what we promised, or whatever it may be. So one of the things that we can do is, when we feel guilty, is when we have to stop. We don't have to overanalyze it, outlogic it, go over it, under it, through it, around it. Most likely when people feel guilty, they lie to it, cheat it, manipulate it, or deny it. What I teach is the stop, drop, and roll methodology, where every time I feel guilty, which is genetically and energetically inherited from my family, every time I feel guilty or act with guilt, I stop, I breathe, I drop to center, I recollect, remind, and remember the infinite, the source, my God, your God. And then I roll back into, what is it I want? Who can I help? Who can help me? And how best can I do that according to the circumstances of the day, or my non-negotiable behaviors that are non-circumstantial. And then I reprioritize without that guilt. And now I've enabled myself not to seek or interfere with why, but to apply my why. Now I'm living more of the linear construct, the 24 hours of the day, in my why, in the infinite, at ease, dissipating, dissolving, and disappearing, the dis-ease. So stop, drop, and roll when you feel guilty. Utilize that. Don't overanalyze it. Some people calling that let it go, let it be. I call it stop, drop, and roll to get back into our divine direction. What a great question. So many of us feel resentful and guilty because we are seeking other people's approval, or we said yes to something and we can't deliver, which both were covered within the context of the training. You are amazing. I can't wait to see you next, Marianne. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being part of our community, and encourage everybody to reach out to Marianne and join her community, join our community. She will let you know how you can be a part of all of it and to help it. So email me. I'd love to introduce you, david@dmeltzer.com. Thank you so much, Marianne.
Thank you, Dave.
You got it. One more question, Nick.
Do we want to squeeze in one more final question?
You nailed it. Yes, I do.
Beautiful. It is going to be the Meltzer double.
Oh, no. Bad choice. This guy, you asked Eric Meltzer what time it is. He gives you the history of the clock. So that's not the guy to pick if you want to squeeze in one more question. But I'm gonna go ahead and not prejudge my brother, Eric Meltzer. Eric Meltzer, you got a minute to give me your question.
All right, question is, so you were talking about the 3-no rule, but and I find that I will sometimes adjust pricing because 0% of something is nothing. How do you balance being nice versus having 0% of nothing?
Attaboy, Eric.
There you go. So I got plenty of time to answer that. One, you need to know your perceived value, which is based off of your confidence and comfortability, which is something that, man, if you knew the power that you had, you'd be so much more comfortable and confident, my brother. And then 2, you need to know your bottom line, because 80% of businesses would go bankrupt with the business they have today, because 80% of business, they're either losing money or breaking even because they don't know their bottom lines. So if you don't know your timing and risk tolerance, you will not be able to be comfortable and confident and have a perceived value, and you certainly won't know your bottom line. But when you know and you're comfortable and confident in perceived value, and you know your bottom line, all of your business is profitable, and you are utilizing your linear time, your man-made constructive time, in a productive, passionate, purposeful, and most importantly in business, profitable way. Don't get so busy working you forget to make money because you don't know your timing and risk tolerance. You're not comfortable and confident in your perceived value. You don't know your bottom line. If anybody needs help with this, this is one of my subject matter topic expertises around the world, teaching people how to determine timing and risk tolerance according to their divine direction, how to be comfortable and confident in perceived value and articulation of that, and most importantly, how to analyze your bottom line so you can live with passion, purpose, and profitability every single day, so you can make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun, assisting me in my mission of empowering others to empower others to be happy. Nick of WOM, it's exactly 7 o'clock. Thank you, Eric Meltzer. That was an incredible feat to be so efficient and effective with your questions. Nick, go ahead and close out Clubhouse. I'll close out the multicast on every platform. God bless everyone. Enjoy your weekend. And most importantly, happy birthday to the best student I've ever had in the thousands of students, the incredible Nick of WOM, the well-oiled machine. Take it away.
I love you, Dave. Thank you so much for...
He is amazing. We are blessed. God bless all of us. Today's training, nice versus kind. If you would like the training guides, exercises, or replay, please email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you would like to stay informed on what we got going on, Wednesday, Napoleon Hill training, Friday, our trainings, free trainings for over 28 years, our Ask Me Anythings, our meeting, our holding courts, our meetups, our interviews, our speeches, our tours, our VIP masterminds and dinners for charity, everything we got going on. If you want to be informed and invited to over 200 things we got going on, it's area code 949. The next three numbers, you can see them right there, 298. The last four numbers with the jingle, 2905. That's 949-298-2905. Just to recap, we will be at SoFi Stadium with Wolfgang Puck, the CEO of Bugatti, the founder of Drybar, Brian Scheer, Tim Story, Marie Diamond, many, many more. Come and visit us at SoFi Stadium, the greatest stadium ever built for just about $6 billion. The screen cost $1 billion in there. If you haven't even seen, come to the stage. Don't worry about the killer people. Now meet me and Les Brown and so many others in Atlanta. Then down to San Diego to rinse and repeat. Back to SoFi Stadium to rinse and repeat. And then come to Mount Rushmore, Rapid City, South Dakota. Come and join us at a mastermind, interviews, holding court, meetups. We got so much going on, but you got to either text me or email me. Don't forget, you can have the exercises, guides, my books for free. I'll sign it, send it to you, pay for shipping and my book. I will pay for everything. David@dmeltzer.com. But remember, be kind and nice when appropriate. But be kind to your future self for sure. And do good deeds. Hit it, Gigi.
Hey! 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 Oh! Hey! Wanna know where David's gonna be? Get invites, updates, and community. When he's in your city, you won't miss a thing. Just text the number, let your phone ring, 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 ring. 949-298-2905. That's 949-298-2905. Events, connection, and opportunity. All in one place. Come join the community. So text it now, don't wait in line. Buy for life. 949-298-2905. That's 949-298-2905.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
There's so much more effort someone will give if it is not seen as the job, but the thing that they enjoy doing with their life.
We both view all of it that way. It's like, how in this interaction am I going to add excessive value to the person on the other side? And neither of us, I think, accept anything less than that.
I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Very simply, getting people's mind realigned and showing them evidence of what they can do so that they know that they can make the right decision in the moment.
I knew I could get better, and I knew, because no matter how late to the game you are, there's a phrase I invite everybody to live by, which is there's always room for the best.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
Overarching umbrella, I would say, about how to accomplish it all is to find things that you're just really passionate about and that you love and you're interested in.
You got to do it because you truly love it. And at some point, if you're thriving in it and if you are being progressive at it, you'll probably get recognized for that.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.